Hi, I'm Christian Bernard Singer. I live in Big Bay, Ontario. I grew up in Paris and New York and then Toronto and then Montreal. Lived in places all over the world, and each place seems to have gotten smaller. And now I'm in Big Bay, which is this really, really small place in Georgian Bay on the other side of the bay. And it's a magical place. And so all of the work that I've been doing for the last 20 years has been around the environment. It's about discovery. Julie Oakes once said, even in death there can be beauty. And I really love that. So I started off in dance in New York, actually. Just one of those situations because my mother was a dancer, my dad was a writer, and we lived in this incredible time in New York, and I got to be part of a modern dance troupe. So with all these artists around me, I think I just didn't have a choice but to become an artist. It was just the natural way for me. My process of working has developed over many years in a way that is really just paying attention to what's around me. So before I did a lot more work about city things and gender issues and that kind of thing, but then I moved to the environment, and I still consider myself a tourist in the forest. But over the years, I've learned to have this incredible relationship with the forest, and it really started by asking for permission. As that I'm still an invited guest, and the forest didn't invite me, but I've invited myself. But I still feel like I need to ask for permission because it's very special. And I'm taking materials from the forest to make work with. And so I have like a deal with the forest. And the forest has revealed materials and magic to me. And one of the things that it has revealed is this whole notion of the cyclical nature of life. I just love my experience, and then I try and take that experience and put it back into the work. Because yes, in the forest there's a lot of death too, a lot of death and decay, but it's all part of the cycle. When the pine beetles do their thing, the forest goes from green, and then it goes to red, and then it goes to gray, so it changes colors. And so, I'm a lover of color, and so I use color to then talk about that death scenario, but I'm also wanting it to be vibrant and beautiful and, life-giving. I want it to be life-giving. So what's the role of an artist in today's society? They teach us to look and pay attention, and they speak to us in a different language than language. It's like an intuitive conversation that they are having with you and that you are having with them. And hopefully, one person, it's changed the world for that one person. And if it changes the world for that one person might change the world. So what I love about what I'm doing is that I just don't see it ending. As every time I look at something new, it just brings me to something new. And one of my biggest challenges is that I have 20, 50 ideas in the making, and I'm still, gluing that pine needle. And it's a very, very slow process. So I'm trying to find ways to work with the material so that I can move through my ideas a little faster. So that's the biggest part. But in terms of the nature, and who knows, maybe in the future I won't be doing nature-related work, but it will always be this thing about just looking at something and being so curious about it and wanting to discover it. I can't live long enough to do it all. So obviously at some point I'll run out of time. And that's pretty amazing that it won't get boring. It's just, I gotta do it. And then the other thing is, I'm real excited about this show that I'm gonna have at the Quest. Not only because it's my first solo show in a few years, and it's bringing together all of this pine needle work that I've been working on for the last 7 years, but there's also a return to installation. That is super exciting because I have now figured out how to go three-dimensional with my pine needles. So I can actually make sculptures, standalone sculptures, and installation works with pine needles. And that, I think, is going to be pretty cool. I'm speaking. I thought we talked about this. Oh, you want to chime in, do you? Yeah.